Okay. First off, skills. Skills for PI. Let's see, where are they? There we are. Plant management. So the recommended skills to have for PI, ignore the side there, is to have command center at 5, so you can have as much clutter on the planets as you want. And interplanetary consolidation is for how many planets you want. If you just want the one planet, you don't have to skill this. But it's preferred to have it at 5, so you can get all 6 planets. More money that way. Remote sensing is just how far out you can sense it. You can see stuff if you go to agency planets. Just how far you can see what's on the planets. You can see the details in resources the further you go away. You can see these have a lot because they're low sec. So you do high sec, for example, you can go fairly far. Then you don't have to go to every system and check out what's in the system on the planets. So level 3 is acceptable. Then you don't have to like fly everywhere. You can go pretty far, 8-9 jumps depending on the distance. It's not per jump. It's not like 3 jumps, 5 jumps away. It's further because it's light years, not jumps. Jump gates are like in a zigzag pattern. Doesn't always go in a straight line, you know. Also, planetology. Get it to at least 3 or 4 to see more detail in the scans you do on the planets, to see where the density and stuff is. So I can show you here. So if you go into scanning on a planet, it's this one. The planetology shows you more detail on this scan window. Okay, so that's for the skills. Now for the just basic setup. Ignore that thing. You can just do that. There's not much in it. So this is basically how it shows up. I'm gonna remove something on screen there so it doesn't bother us much. I think the chat should be, it's okay. So this is basically how it looks like when you go into a planet. After you've installed the command center on the planet, you place a command center just by viewing the planet and being in space with the said command center for the type of planet. This is how is it? It's a tempered planet. Let's use a tempered command center for this. Place it wherever you want. Upgrade it fully. See minus there. If you want to upgrade your command center later, you just double click the planet and it automatically fixes on this one. You don't have to set up your stuff, your setups next to it. Doesn't have to be linked to the command center. You can be anywhere on the planet, so that doesn't matter much. Okay, so I can show you something with this bar, this rainbow bar. This is just it's set at default like this. It's just show what the density and stuff is. It won't show too much detail at the default setting. I recommend pulling the right one all the way to the left, and then you click in the center and drag the entire thing. For high sec, I like to have it around 2, 3 in between those notches there, and it gives you a nice detail. you have it all the way down, you'll see a lot, but everything will be white. White is good, but necessarily, if you have it all the way to the left, it doesn't give you everything. The further right you do it, the more concentrated patches you see. So you'd probably be good by setting it up here if you're doing carbon, for example. I usually just have it in here for high sec. Then I know exactly where I'm picking up stuff. Same for, so the lines, the white in the bars means how much this is, how much resource density. In high sec, there's the more common stuff will be like carbon and microorganisms and water and stuff. Will probably be more dense on certain planets. Water is not particularly good on temperate, not usually. Really depends on how big the planet is and stuff. And where it is, low sec, null sec and wormhole space, the density tends to be way better. You can have them almost fill the entire bar. Even with the complex and auto thingies, those more rare resources, they also will be way up in the medium or even higher, depending on the planet, of course, and what security rating the system has. Okay, so for setting up, we can now do, okay, so before we show that, we have templates, but I can show you a simple setup. I can show you how templates work after. Scanning. So let's do microorganism. It's what I had on this plan before. So I'll be going fairly high up there just to figure out. Nice. This looks like a very dense area. So I'll be probably setting up here because this won't. You could set up here as well. It won't have as much as this. We're just gonna set up a little setup in the middle here. So you go to build. You don't technically need. So you need a launch pad. That's something you have to have if you want to extract the stuff. In high sec, I do recommend having a storage unit next to it, because if you're just doing tier 1 stuff, going for the P1, tier 0 or phase P0 as it's called, the raw material you pull up from planets, it's nice to have it in a storage unit, because then everything doesn't get overflown in the launch pad when you're sending it to factories. It can get really cramped really fast, especially in the beginning, depending on how long you set up your extraction timer. If you set it up for 1 to 2 weeks, well, you only kind of just need the launch pad. But if you do like me, 1 to 3 days, it's nice to have this. Now, you need basic industries. I recommend setting it up in a line. So I'll set up 4 factories. It should be enough. If you misplace, you can do decommission on the side, and let's remove chat a little bit temporarily, so you can see. So on the side, it says decommission. You can just delete if you want. So if you're happy with placement, click submit. You have to have links between. So you can do create link. Everything needs to be linked when it comes to your setup. It's so it can send stuff back and forth. Now you have to set up what you're gonna make. So I'm making bacteria because I'm pulling out microorganisms. You click install. Now the cursor changes to this little other icon. This means it's set up to route the stuff. Sending all the finished products to the launchpad. Create route. Do the same with all the factories. It will be a little bit more advanced when you start and setting up for T2, T3, T4 and upwards. When you set up all your factories, click submit. So that's saved. Now you can see it says producing bacteria. If you're unsure if it's sending to the launchpad, you can just click the factories and you see this orange dotted line that goes from left up to the launchpad. Pretty nice. To get this going, you will need an extractor. And you see this big circle, this is its range. So I'll put it right here for the first one. So it can reach everything. This one as well, a little bit of that. This will also need the linking. You can click the link there as well. This we send directly to the storage unit. And now you click the extractor. And you click that little icon there. Put install extraction program. Then you get this UI up. It might land elsewhere on your screen. Now you have a bar on the left side, bottom right. You can drag this, you can set it up to 14 days. It will take ages, won't give you that much money, but it's less maintenance, you know. I like having it at 3 days, because then it's a little bit maintenance, but it's every 3 days and it's not that bad. And you just select your program, then it highlights the scanning again. Left side of the window, you have your extractors. You just click them. If you do it in the order I showed you, it will have everything will be nice and spaced out like that. Now just hover over one, and then the icon changes. Just click and drag. And just space them out like this. Try not to have them overlapping, because you get less out of it. That's not fun, you know. You want as much as possible out of it. So I could like extract the center right away, but you know, it's nice to take the outside first. And it will say in the bottom right, average per hour. It can be 15, it can be 60. It's just the average. It's the average you go by when you're setting up your factories. So every factory takes 3,000 units every 30 minutes. So it's 6,000 per hour. So in the beginning, when you set up, it will pump out lots. And it will look like it fills up really fast. When you're done with the setup of the extractor heads, you just click Start Extract. Now it says it's not routed. Then you click this one, click there, Create Route. Then you set it there to your storage unit or wherever you want to send it. But we also need to tell the factories that they're gonna pull stuff automatically out of this. Something I didn't know in the beginning is that you can actually set it up right away. Send the stuff before this is done. This takes 1 hour to pull out stuff. So you technically don't You should be able to, as long as you have one extractor, you shouldn't need 4. You could go perfectly well use 2 factories. Okay, so now we need to route. So we got them from here. Now you go in here. Click the storage unit. Then we click on routes. And if it doesn't say it on the top, the incoming stuff, you can just click on this. The incoming amount will always be on top if you click sorting it a little bit like this. So we are interested in the incoming. So we click that. Click create routes. And we click to that, the first factory. Then we do the same again for all. This is how you don't have to return to your setup in an hour and send stuff manually, set it up manually. Because when the extractor sends stuff in there, you can go into inventory and click it and create route to the factories, but you will run out of resources really quick. So it's better to go into routes, click on the incoming item, and just send it to the factories. So this is a basic setup. And you can see at the top right, the power loads have a lot more I can utilize. Also remember, submit after you've done changes. Since I have more power, you can also see that here. Double click. The CPU is usually just, doesn't really matter much. The power is what you need, which is the good thing. Because if there's plenty of it, you can set up another one of these. Try not to set it up too far from the main stuff. I usually just set it up, since it's an extra, set up clearly. It does use quite a lot of power to set up. Do the same with this. You don't have to have the link right to that one. You can just set it to this. Uses a little bit less power, especially for long links. Then you do the same here. Oh, I did the other way around, but that's 3 days. And you can see when I click, the power usage goes up. So if you find that having 2 extractors like this makes it so that it overflows in the storage, you can always remove 2 of these extraction programs and add another factory to remove some of the excess stuff, you know. Usually the 4 factories should take this out. This is basically how you set up a high-sec setup. Like this. Simple and easy. Now we can save this template, because we have templates now. Because if you have more planets with like bacteria, say your more bacteria want to make and stuff, more planets, you can click save as templates, and just make a nice, say it's high-sec P0. I have a way I set it up at P1. I can do bacteria like this. Just signalize it as high-sec setup P0 to P1 bacteria, save. Now it saved it for me. And I can go in there and I can search for bacteria. And there it is. So if I go have another planet that I want to set up on, that has bacteria and stuff, I can just do, if we remove the filter, so let's see, I can just click this load button, then you get this well, that's interesting. I think they messed up a little bit. There's something wrong with this. Let's see. If I do that different one. But let's do this, right? Yeah, this is set up perfectly. So you click load and it sets it up. You don't have to have the extractors with you in the setup and stuff. It's not necessary. But it does load up. We got bacteria one here. Different one. This is more tuned for high sec or for low sec. More factories and stuff. But you can set it up however you see fit. Don't think I have a more advanced setup. Yeah, I have a one that makes livestock. I can explain this as well. So this is basically two extractors. Where you put them is up to you. So you got the launch pad in the middle. We got two basic factories right here. And we got two basic right here. You got a storage unit on each side. It's because this setup usually runs one day cycles. There's an extractor that sends stuff into this storage unit, and there's an extractor that sends into this storage unit. So two different types of items. It's complex organisms and something else. And plant tech colonies to make proteins and biomass. This is sent in here. And these are two advanced factories. This is an extraction plant for P0 to P2, so this is how you could set it up, or you can do it differently. And finished product from the advanced factories goes into the launchpad. So everything is sent into launchpad, but the finished product is in there. This is an example of one. I believe the other ones are, yeah, they're about the same. Don't think I have a more advanced one. No. That is basically how you set up PI. So this will run for 3 days. And then after 3 days, you get this icon next to the planet that you click on, and it automatically restarts your extractor. So you don't have to go in here and click there and start extractor manually. Way faster. Also, there's one thing I can mention about planets. They have radius. The radius of the planet determines how much you can build on the planet. Small planets, less things can be built. So gas giants usually are like above 10k radius. So a big one like this can have way more. Also a tip. When you're looking for planets and stuff, try and check out the custom soffits. It's how much the tax is. In high sec it can be everything from 10% to 25% depending. Also, there is a skill. Hello. Oh, it's lagging. Why is the game lagging? No clue. Okay, so there's a skill called Customs Code Expertise. This shaves off 10% per level in tax. Get this to level 5 before you start extracting from the planet. Else you'll lose so much more in tax. Important skill to have. Get to level 5. Else you'll pay more tax. Even though you have 1% tax in null, you'll have more tax than 1%. Because CCP takes some. I think that's everything for PI.